without him. So, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is. Richard is away at the moment, saving the world, and seems Chris is as well by the looks of it. I'll be taking over again this week. With me, as always, is wearing his headphones on, Mr. Chris Cute.
Hello.
And for their first spotlight on the podcast, we have the Dragons. We have Emma, Mummy Dragon, Chris, Daddy Dragon, and myself, Jamie's Page.
I don't have headphones.
Sorry, Chris.
It was uncalled for, dude.
I know. Just a quick reminder: today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit and the Woodturners Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad over at Crafty, who makes those awesome powder-coated Yeti mugs, Pam from Highland Boxes, and who makes those amazing hybrid resin blanks. Steve from Highnell Media, who does some of the website along with me.
All of
mostly takes my credit. The links to all of our sponsors are in the description and can also be found on the website, which is makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. Mr. Chris Cute, do we have any random listener questions?
What is a forward splash? That's my random question.
Do you know what? That's on the notes that Richard gave me. I'm quite surprised actually, because Richard always used to say forward roll.
I'm looking at my keyboard going, nowhere does it say forward splash.
It honestly says, and he's actually written Makers International podcast . He's actually written the word dot, and it says forward splash. Forward slash sponsors. So I guess I'm making up words now. With regards to the website.
Sorry, I believe Richard has used splash in the past.
That's why we need Steve.
Yeah. Steve Harneal, thank you for at least giving some sanity to this nonsense. Do we have any random listener questions? I don't actually say we have random questions. We have questions, as usual, from our inquisitive one. But they're all related to Chris and Emma. So maybe we ought to just dive in and talk to them for a few minutes before we start asking them, nonsense. Extremely intelligent questions from Andy Pugh.
I've got a quick double barrel question for him.
Okay, go ahead.
A quick double barrel question for the Dragons. Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Briefs.
Oh.
How long have you been married, really?
I know, right?
Who said who wears what?
Quick, move on before there's a dispute.
Well, first off, before we...
He wears briefs doesn't mean
At least we know they're not sharing.
It's the only way we can tell, to be honest with you.
Before we get started on too much silliness, I did, and Chris and Emma, I did want to take a moment to give you our condolences on the loss to your friend. I know that happened in the past few days, and that's always tough. I've been there myself, my friend, and so both of you, you have our condolences, and that's a tough one to swallow. But on a much lighter note, happy belated birthday, Chris.
Thank you very much.
You turned a big one, though. You turned a big one, though, didn't you?
Oh, yes. 21.
Again.
21.
He can now drink legally. For the 29th time. Anyway, so yeah, happy birthday, my friend. Good for you. Did you do anything fun on your birthday, or did you just kind of like,
So not on their birthday, because the kids were at school and at work, and Emma was at work as well. But yesterday I got taken out for a 7-course tasting menu at my favourite restaurant, which was very, very cool.
Nummy.
McDonald's had done that many menus.
What if flight from the UK? I want to go there.
It was a 7-course tasting menu with the most amazing. We had scallops and
you're gonna make me hungry. Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
There's a particular type of beef that this chef likes called Dingley Dell beef.
No, that's pork.
Or, no, is it?
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, everything. So we actually know the chef, and he's just been awarded. He's on the Michelin list now.
Oh, he's got a Michelin star.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge honor. Good for him.
Yeah, he's one of the country's top chefs. I would say he's phenomenal.
Obviously, you don't get a Michelin star without being that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's starting to get recognition for it. But as you can
Right.
imagine, it was after having how many gins at dinner, Chris?
I had 1, 2, 5, 6.
Yeah.
It's a
Nice.
celebration, Emma. You were driving, right?
I was paying as well.
Good man, Chris. Good man, Chris.
You know what's really great though, and so Emma's allergic to alcohol.
Bummer.
Yeah.
More for you.
So as soon as we found this out, I did the right thing and I bought a 7-seater so me and my mates could go out and.
I'm forever the designated driver, but I can live with that. I don't really
Just-
need alcohol.
Just think, Emma, if I had taken Chris out, he would have been paying.
Well, yeah, no, I probably will be at some point.
Actually, when I took you out for fish and chips, I think I paid.
You did.
Yeah.
Jamie doesn't pay for anything.
But he gives
And,
so
and
much
she
love
drove us
to
there.
pay.
He's the friend at the end of the meal. If the menu comes, I mean, the bill comes, and he starts patting his pockets, going, "Ooh, ooh," and he just gives you the signs like, "I don't really have any money." And like, "Oh, great, Jamie, whatever."
Oh.
And
We
he's
still
lying.
don't
He's
get
no, he's lying. He's
Yeah,
a
but
he's a
it's his
cheap
fault,
SOB.
His fault.
His fault.
His fault.
His fault.
He's a cheap SOB. That one over there. Anyway, all right. Questions. We'll get into a few of these real quick. And Chris, I know what you do for a living, and so we'll get to that in a bit. Emma, what do you do? What is your day job?
My day job. I'm a HR manager for a group of special needs schools.
You're an HR manager?
Human resources.
Human resources.
No, I understand what HR means. It's just that very few people like HR.
I'm a really nice, fair HR person. And I'll tell you why. I was treated really, really poorly in the NHS by my manager.
Mhm.
And I had to go through a whole load of, can't swear, crap.
Oh.
And I had to learn a lot of HR to be able to deal with my manager.
Okay.
And because of which I learned that, HR can be a nice, should be there to support staff, not just management.
Right.
And I sort of thought, no, I'm getting into this now, and I took qualifications, etc. And I've moved into schools. And what's nice is I now have the opportunity to sit and talk with the head teachers and say to them, hang on a minute, is that really fair for staff? And can't we build morale for staff in a better way?
Nice.
And so
Mm.
I'm sort of paying back a little bit. I mean, of course, you've got the side bits that, I have to do disciplinaries, but I'm a fair person. And I think I want to put a little bit more of niceness back into HR.
Right.
Mm.
Awesome. Well, it's glad to hear that
Yeah.
people in the HR business actually exist like you. Because most of the ones that I know or that I did know back in my day, they all basically worked for management. And it was, they said human resources, and the only humans they recognized were their bosses.
Yeah.
That was not a good deal.
That's
But
also the reason why I chose to work in sort of the public sector rather than to work in the private sector,
Mhm.
because it's not all about the money.
Now, Chris, I know what you do, but tell everybody else, what do you do?
So I'm a paramedic. I've been in the ambulance service for just under 30 years now. I suppose you could call me special. So I work.
It's very special.
I
I don't want to call you special.
Amongst other things.
I'm glad. So I work on, in the UK, we've got something called the Hazardous Area Response Team. So I deal with the unusual stuff that the world can throw at a large conurbation. So I deal with acts of terror. I deal with flooding. I deal with people having medical conditions in collapsed buildings and stuff like that. That's basically my day job.
Wow.
Right, some
Not
of the
more fun than
some
mine.
of the more severe things, if you like.
Yeah. So if it falls outside of what a normal ambulance crew can do, my team are the people that deal with it.
Okay.
So if I called like 911 here in the States and said, I felt a little flutter in my chest, you wouldn't come to my door. That'd be the other guys.
That would be the other guys.
Yeah, okay.
But if you had a little flutter and you said, I've got a little flutter in my chest and you were up 140-foot crane, you might see me.
Yeah, if I called up with a flutter in my chest and I was laying underneath a huge oak tree which just fell on me, you might come and say hi. Okay.
That's me as well.
Yeah, but that's for a completely different reason. He'll be stealing the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're with you in a moment. Just got to make a few pikes. Thank you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh,
That tree's got a nice bit of crotch. I love that.
see, I'd be thinking, I'd be so out of it. I'd be thinking he was talking about me and going, hey, now I'm married. Anyway.
That's the other advantage of being a specialist paramedic is we carry all of the really good stuff.
Now, I know just from past conversations that Jamie and I have had, outside of this podcast that I think it was the first Maker Central, Jamie, that he helped alleviate you from a lot of your funds. Because he
Second Maker Central.
That was a beginning.
That was just the start. But and obviously you guys were looking for recommendations and you were asking him, silly you, about what you should buy for your daughter. But I mean that lent me to believe that you guys do a little bit of making and tinkering yourself here and there, whether it's crafts or something. So what is your history? Do you have any there, or are you just basically involved because of your daughter?
We got involved because of our daughter. We bought a lot of the equipment for her originally. But we kind of got involved as well and we started turning, and I suppose Chris does it more as a stress relief end of the day.
Yeah, it's nice to go down to the shed and just stick a bit of wood on the lathe and just
not think.
And just think about making something beautiful rather than maybe what I've been doing during the day.
Yeah. And our daughter sort of slowly moved a little bit away from the turning side of it. She does a lot of artwork now, but she does do turning occasionally. And when we're moving to a bigger house with a larger workshop, hopefully before Christmas, and she is so on to sort of coming out making things. She's a crafter at heart.
Yeah,
and I think we are as well, because I want to get into pottery and I want to get into soap making and all sorts of things.
I think it's also fair to say that I'm a skinflint. I know that doesn't actually appear because Jamie keeps emptying my wallet, but I've always been very practical. I prefer to make things myself rather than get somebody else to do it. So I built our conservatory, I built my parents' extension, like ground up. I did the plumbing, the electrics, the woodwork, the roofing.
Well, I don't think that's, and I'm just making excuses for myself here, but I don't think that's being a skinflint, because if you have the knowledge, you know how to do it, then you doing it, is going to save you money. Then what's the harm in using your knowledge and putting it to work? I mean,
I think it's also the fact that it's going to get done properly.
Yeah.
There aren't going to be the corners cut where you can't see it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. For Chris, it needs to be done perfectly or don't bother.
Oh, no, I agree with that. And I'm horrible. When I built this room that's behind me, because all this walls and all the structure you see behind me, it did not exist before I moved here. I was the same way. If it wasn't square, if it wasn't straight, it didn't go up.
Yeah.
It's
don't
just
ever hang a picture with him.
I'm not even going to go. All right, you two go at it. We'll just sit back and watch. Go ahead.
The thing is, I can't help. I've got a fairly good eye for things, and I'm one of those people that if it's off level, I'll go, oh yeah, that's off level, and then once I've noticed it, that's the only thing that matters. So
he won't look at how beautiful the picture is. He'll just always see that it's 0.5 millimeter below the other picture.
Those are the kind of things that, well, they kind of bug me too, Emma. So Chris and I are kindred in that way, because if I never notice it, obviously no problem. But once I do notice it, that's good. I got to fix it. It's just I can't I can't deal with it.
I think this is how I balance Chris out a little bit. I'm a little bit more easygoing. He's a bit uptight.
I'm very much like that.
So basically, she's saying you've got more of a pucker to you than she does. Is what? Okay, I hear Wow. So what? I mean, you guys got. I'm not going to go there. Trust me. So you guys got started. I mean, Chris, you obviously knew, and I'm sure you probably had some interest at least prior to, but you guys didn't really get into hands-on doing things on any sort of consistent basis until after you got your daughter into it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, after she got us into it, it was her who dragged us to Maker Central. It was her birthday present that she asked for because she wanted to meet someone who she followed on YouTube. And
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Duke.
But before we actually went to Maker Central, it was, when I was off at the weekends, part of our weekend family time together was sitting watching Makers Make on YouTube. And it was like seeing how stuff was done and talking about how amazing stuff was. And Bobby, he carves, he does the most amazing art.
Yeah.
And it was like, I quite like this too, but I wouldn't ever tell Susie that.
She's in bed, by the way. But we used to watch it with her and enjoy it. And when she sort of said, let's go to Maker Central, then that was it. We were like, okay.
Yeah.
Turned up there, wasn't really sure what to expect.
No.
But it was amazing. We just met so many fantastic people. And they were so accepting for new starters. They were so accepting any age.
Yeah.
That it was so welcoming.
That's fantastic.
And we took her many places.
That was literally every stall, every person, even the people walking around were coming up and going, "Oh wow, isn't she doing well doing whatever arts and crafty? That's amazing. I love this." Blah, blah. And people, I think it's also people weren't afraid to talk to each other and discuss things and be friendly, and it was just genuine niceness.
Yeah,
good-hearted.
Yeah,
and that's the sort of we are. We don't have any pretenses, or we'd much rather just go up and say hi than and we're I suppose both coming from slightly a caring sort of background. It is a little bit of can we help you, and we genuinely mean can we help you.
All right, well, speaking of helping, because and I'll go back to Jamie alleviating the heaviness of your wallet. Jamie, what's your story when you first met Chris and Emma? I mean, if you don't mind telling the people how you met and then how you ended up spending all their money.
Well, I never actually got a chance to actually meet you properly at Maker Central. I was off doing on doing demos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what my first interaction with the Dragons was Susie was turning a pen with Steve.
Yeah.
And she was all excited and that she made up her mind she wanted a lathe from that point. And I had taken a set of Pen Turner's Easy Wood tools set with me to the to Maker Central to be used on the Pen Turner's lathe. And I said to Richard, if they come back, give them to her. Right, which she did. Richard just basically said, there you go, there's the kit, basically. And obviously I was away at that point, so I never got to actually give them to him myself. I think my first proper interaction with you was maybe at Yandles or maybe Record Power at Kempton Park.
I think it was Record Power, wasn't it?
No, it was Yandles in September. Yandles in September.
Because then you told us about the...
Then you told us about Kempton.
And that's when I told you about Kempton Park. And that's when I said you need to spend more money on getting a new lathe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, God bless Richard.
That's how you got another big discount.
See, this is how conniving Mr. Morley is, and I don't mind saying this even when he's not here because I'll say it to his friggin' face. He gives the girl the tools, obviously knowing that she doesn't have a lathe, and so he's like, "Here you go."
He did say to us, "Are you going to get her a lathe?" And we said, "Yes, I think it's a really good thing." She had a slight problem with concentration. She still does. And when she was actually turning, she had the most amazing Xenix serious. It was like she
proper
completely focused on it, and it was very hard for her to do that at times. So he said to us, "You're going to get her a lathe," and we sort of said, "Yeah, we think this is something we could encourage for her." And he went, "Oh, good. Here you go. This is from Jamie."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Baby Richard wasn't so bad. I'm gonna take it back.
So before that, they were minus all that money. They were up £200.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then we were
So-
down now about £10,000.
Yeah, all right. Didn't have to mention that.
Worth every penny, though.
What you need to do is stop asking Jamie what you need.
Well, we're now on our third lathe.
We're on our third lathe now.
We've got a whole big workshop in the garden because he didn't think what we were offering Susie was suitable.
She can't turn in a kennel.
I bet she can. But we started off with a small Axminster
Storage
lathe.
box. Storage box.
Well, that leads me.
Yeah, it was a storage box.
Well, this conversation leads us to the next question Andy Pugh had. He said, just how much money has Jimmy actually cost them? and how
About
much
£10,000.
and how much value has that added to your lives? That's
the important bit.
More than £10,000 worth.
It's sometimes the money's not the important thing, but actually the quality of life is.
Yeah.
And not just having the workshop, because some people don't have workshops, but it's everything that goes along with this community. It's actually changed our lives for the better.
We always know where we're going to be on a Sunday evening.
Oh, God love you.
So do I.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I can commit.
But it's the wonderful thing about the maker community is it doesn't matter where in the world you are. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter what you look like. If you're a maker, you're a maker, and it's a type of person. It's
What I also like is the way that you support, as makers support each other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like people like, who have the blind wood turner or the gentleman wood turner, where they have a disability. And it's like, that's such a brilliant thing. How can we continue to help you? How can it be positive experience for you to keep in this community?
Well, it's an inspiration for people that, it's maybe a bit of a wake up call for people that, stub their toe and want to make excuses. Then you point to this guy or that guy or that girl and you go, they did more than stub their toe and they're not making excuses. So what? Oh, you want to hit me with that again? And people kind of go, oh, okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, and there's a community to support you to find your way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the big thing as well.
There's also, I think there's not haves and have-nots in the community. Once you're in the community, it's like, I think I might need a so-and-so. And it'd be like, well, actually, I've got a spare one. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And it's not done with anything other than just genuine helpfulness.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be totally honest with you. I gave Richard 2 scroll saws because I didn't like him.
I got a question out from the chat. Wayne the Wood Turner says to you, Chris, do you want a gin glass that he just made?
Oh, yes. Yes, please, Wayne.
Wayne, I kind of knew the answer before I asked that question. So there you go. So yes, Wayne, if you have no destination in mind for that gin glass, Mr. Murray over here would be the happy recipient of it. So
It needs to be full, though.
Actually, Wayne, so I seem to remember a conversation. It was a drunken conversation that we set some people a task.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point at Jamie as well.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, you'd had a few.
I was drunk.
It still counts. So we set the task of doing a piece of art, a bowl, anything of what the dragons are. So a piece of art or something like that about what the dragon being the dragons.
Mhm.
So Wayne,
Right. Okay.
And
So
Dale,
you're saying
and,
he's
Dale
calling,
and Jamie.
and Jamie. And,
you're saying he's calling you a drunk.
hey, I was sober and I heard it. So, and it's all Dale. That was all Dale's fault. I'm sorry, but that was all Dale's fault.
I believe that. I believe Dale was behind all that. I have no
All
doubt in
right.
my mind.
So I've still got to do mine then.
Mr. Main Street Studios out there.
I just remember there being whiskey, and then it was 3 days later.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that nowhere in that conversation was my name mentioned. Okay, so
And
Oh, I did say we should FaceTime Chris and just show him this.
yeah.
everyone went, no, I don't like that guy. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, Emma, we've got a question directed at you, and we've got 2 of them. It was just asked by the Blue Light Turner, but it was also asked by Andy Pugh. So I'll just throw it out there for you. Andy's question was, and it's much along the line of the Blue Light Turners. Says, am I given to understand that Emma is a dust collection expert?
As Chris moves away from me. I collected dust whilst turning at Dale's place because in Dale's studio he had an evening and I decided to turn without a smock on and I had a V-neck top on and
Dale's dust extraction system was blocked with, I don't know, blue pencils or something.
yeah, and I just didn't need an awful lot of cleaning up afterwards for some reason.
Well, the next question was,
Bathroom when I went to clean myself.
do you have any tips or tricks on improving the dust collection while somebody is wood turning? I'm going to guess that was a. I'm going to guess that's a proper follow up, but I don't. That's a great question, Andy. Thank you for that.
Earrings.
In other words, Emma's a bit of a fanatic about dust, and Chris makes a lot of it, and so it seems to be.
Scott,
I was going to get away with that. Something.
Somebody's not getting breakfast made for him tomorrow, anyway. Okay.
Scott, the Blue Light Turner, just says Emma, the low cut Turner.
Well, it wasn't like the rest of them, the half cut turners.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh. Yes, that was a comical evening. That
That's a good evening, actually.
will take me a long time to live down. Thanks, guys.
I blame Jamie.
I'm it's his fault. I'm only laughing because I can kind of sort of relate. My wife comes out into my shop and I'm in the middle of making something and there's dust and shavings and bits of offcuts all over the floor. This place is a mess. How can you work out here? I'm like, go away. I'm in the middle of doing something. Okay, whatever. Just saying, it's a mess. Well, that's nice.
I just carried the wood shavings to the bathroom though, without using my hands.
Well, if you've got wood shavings and no restroom handy, I mean it's a good thing. Anyway,
Yes.
It's kind of like cat litter for adults. Anyway, I didn't just say that. I really didn't.
Chris has fallen asleep on there many a times.
I didn't mean that. I've never done that. Don't look at me so weird.
Chris, pull yourself together, both of you.
But I did manage to steal a picture from his toilet.
No, you really shouldn't.
We interrupt this broadcast because Chris has officially lost it.
Anyway,
He's reminiscing, isn't he? Oh yeah.
So do you guys have a cat?
Yeah, two.
Awesome. What are their names?
Leo and Shelley.
Awesome. So there you go, Chris. It was Leo and Shelley.
We believe
They got confused, and they got confused, and they thought the wood shavings. Never mind. Whatever.
You actually have a wide variety of animals, don't you?
yes. We have a snake.
Got another question from Scott.
Yeah, go on.
Emma, can I have my blue pencil back?
I think Wayne's got it.
I don't know what that is. There's an inside joke there that most people won't get. So why is he asking for his blue pencil back? I mean,
all Dale's dust collection got clogged up. We couldn't figure out why. We soon realised that Scott dropped a blue pencil down the dust collector.
Oh, okay.
And it was blocking the sawdust.
Just before I started wood turning.
Speaking of something regarding making again, as opposed to making a mess. I'm trying here. Okay, I'm trying.
You can do it.
Where? All right, Andy. Andy Pugh has a question. We must be serious.
Do it.
Where will and this is always a troublesome question, especially for me, because people always ask this, and I always go, "Hell, I don't know. Tomorrow hasn't gotten here yet." But I'll ask it anyway, just because Andy wanted me to ask it. You guys have obviously been turning, and you've done that. Where do you see your making go next? Do you see it just doing more turning, or do you see it kind of expanding into different directions, or possibly using different tools or different materials? I mean, do you plan on ever doing flat work? Will you ever pick up a router? It's like,
why would you?
I mean, or heaven forbid, will you ever get a scroll saw? I mean, or are you just quite content with what you're doing right now for now?
I like. We're a bit limited with space at the moment, so when we get our new house, we'll be having a few more tools in as well. Maybe a scroll saw. I've got a router table, a router bed, and I've got a really nice router that somebody gifted to us.
Yeah.
And maybe do some stuff with that. I mean, cabinet work and things like that. But it would be nice, I think. I mean, I've seen some sort of like crossover stuff with bowls and scroll saws where there's really intricate patterns cut into bowls and things, and I really like that look, but I need time and space to do it, and it's not something we have here at the moment.
I think I'd like to look into a bit more of using resin and doing resin casting as well. We don't have a resin pot or anything like that, and space is tight for us. So that's something else I'd like to look at in that sort of genre of turning.
Well, even though you've got into turning, you understand what kind of a rabbit hole you went down there.
Yeah.
We do now.
Yeah.
A bit late now.
Well, I mean, if you get into resin casting, I'm going to tell you that's another rabbit hole, and that's a deep rabbit hole as well. Because I got into lathe work and back into lathe work. Actually, I had worked on a lathe when I was in high school, and I had never touched a lathe until, I don't know, Jamie, what was it? 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I picked up a lathe and I started getting back into it then. And as you get into things, you get excited about it. And you start looking up things. It's like, oh boy, there's an expensive rabbit hole to go down here if I want to. And
I mean, just pen turning on its own.
Oh my God. So yeah.
And then it's we started with carbide, and then it's like, well, but we want to learn traditional. So then you've got the whole set of carbide, and now you're getting the whole set of traditional tools. Yeah.
And it's also, and they all get broken down into different things, because when you first start turning, you don't invest quite as much as you don't invest maybe so much as you would do when you're into it a bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had some fairly generic. So Susie had the pen turning set that Jamie gave her, and I bought another 3 fairly generic sort of carbide tools. But then we've also gone off and we've got a couple of Simon Hope. We've got the Simon Hope handles and the twin bladed gouges. And that's means that you need a sharpener. It means that you need, and once you start doing all of that, it's actually, you need all of this. Otherwise it's not safe to really do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because turning with dull tools is not a good thing. I actually did it the other way around. Because back when I first learned how to do turning, there was no such thing as carbide tools. And so I only used traditional tools. And so when I got a lathe, the first thing I bought was traditional tools because that's what I knew. And then I gradually went to carbide tools, and I end up now I'm using, I don't turn that much, especially within the past year because for reasons. But I end up using when I am turning, I end up using both of them now because I've learned that some traditional tools do things much better than carbide, and some carbide tools will do things much better than what my talent will allow me to do with a traditional tool. It's all based in my own personal talent, because all the tools will do whatever you want them to do if you have the talent. Now, I just haven't built up the skill set yet to use one and one specifically yet.
It's also, I mean, some of the blanks. So I've bought some really beautiful bird blanks recently, and these things were like £35 a blank. They're not cheap, and you don't want to make a mistake on that. It's not like you're not going to try and learn on it. You want to do a piece with it,
right?
And that kind of, I didn't use the traditional tools on them because I didn't want to make huge gouges, because that's pretty much my thing with traditional tools at the moment. Is I sneeze and shove the chisel through the side of the piece.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Dale in the chat. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. He says this show needs a drinking game.
I'm game. Where's the whiskey?
But
it's the learning part of it as well. Is you can understand most of the movement of turning when you're using carbide. But then you move over and you start using the traditional stuff, and you realize there's like next level stuff to it as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm just about getting to now when I'm doing things. And it's just so pleasing when you get that ribbon disappearing over your shoulder, which I've had exactly once.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. That's fine. You know what? But you got the feeling, and it.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, is it's almost knowing it's the sensation as well as what it looks like and what you're doing with the tool. You need to kind of trust your instincts a little bit with it.
Yeah. You learn things like you can learn the sound when you're getting thinner and thinner, or doing a bowl or something. The sound changes.
Your hand,
and it's things like that. The only experience you learn.
Your hand learns it too. From the vibration that you're getting on the wood. You know when you're getting a smooth cut, and you know when you're not getting one too. It's like all that comes together. And Dale, I have a perfect idea. Drinking show. There used to be a college game that we used to play. Back in the day, there was a show called Bob Newhart that used to be on here in the States. And they said Bob during that show probably 20 times in a half an hour. Okay. And so the drinking game was whenever they said Bob on that show, you had to take a drink. So what our show needs now, the drinking game is this: every time we say the word make or maker or making, take a drink.
I need to go and get a drink.
You just said it 3 times right there.
Yeah. So there you go.
I don't drink alcohol.
That's okay. I do.
That's fine.
You have to take mine for me.
We'll go around the corner in the alley. The guys are selling weed over there, and you can have a toke every time we say. Anyway, no, I'm just joking. Just see, that's how horrible I am.
They're making one right now.
What was that you said?
Nothing.
They're making one right now.
So that's 2 drinks now. How many more times you going to say it?
Oh, well, hell, Emma, just go buy a bong. All right, just go buy a bong.
Or you could just make one on the lathe.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, Jamie will do it for you.
I need to make one.
Yeah, there you go. I can make
Oh,
that to
there you go.
the dragon.
Glug, glug, glug. Every time we say the M word.
Oh, I don't think I need it.
Since Chris isn't here, Emma, I'll ask you first. So, what is the favourite thing that you've made to date?
That's my man right there. Thank you.
Make a makey, mate.
There is tonic in that, isn't there?
If that's full of gin, I want to see you in about an hour, because that's a big goblet, my friend. That's got to be water.
Yeah, we work for the emergency services. We don't do drunk.
Oh my God!
You just leave them there on the side of the curb.
Go ahead, Jamie.
The favourite thing I've made was a box that I made out of what's the redwood? Purple Heart. And it's about that big. No, the one in the and it was a box with a lid, and it's the real pleasing thing where the lid is tight. You have to actually turn it, and it gives a little squeak as you try to take it off.
Yeah, so you get the popping sound as it comes off.
Yeah. And it's about that big, and you just turn it and it pops, and that's my favourite thing because it was one of my first pieces, and to get it right on one of my first pieces was so encouraging. It was like, yes, I can do this.
Nice. What about you, Chris? What's your favourite piece that you've done to date?
This one.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty
nice.
What kind of wood is that?
Is that Zebrano?
This is Zebrano.
That's awesome.
So this was a piece of Zebrano that I got off eBay, and it had been in somebody's shed for like 30 years. So this is like vintage Zebrano.
Well, I'm going to describe that because people listening on SoundCloud and iTunes later in the week won't understand. It's a bowl, but it's curved at the bottom and also curved back in towards the top. So it looks like a large Zebrano flying saucer. No, I'm just kidding.
Like a hollow form.
It's kind of a hollow form look to it, and it's absolutely gorgeous, the grain on that wood. Chris, nice job, my friend.
Really, really nice.
You know when you're doing a turning and it just all goes right.
Mm-hmm.
That's this piece.
See, most of the pieces I know are all going wrong.
This is my favourite bowl that I made.
Oh, I like that. It looks like that's nice. Maple. That looks like maple.
It's maple, and it has the most amazing patterning.
It's got a nice figure on it. Yeah.
It's just incredible to turn.
And I'm showing another bowl too, a bigger bowl, but one with a lip on the top of it that kind of extends out from the sides. That's very nice, Emma.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite that I made as well. But this is my favourite one that Chris made, and it's got a really rough.
Beautiful.
Is that a maple?
You can see it's warped as well.
Is that a maple? Is that a maple burl?
It's a burr. Yeah.
I think it's oak. I think this is an oak burr. Actually,
an oak burl. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
But it's just beautiful. The patterning in it, and it was. Do you know what it was? It took him a long time because it was really, really hard wood, and it was so. That the edges were so uneven and things like that it took so much effort to make it, and then it was so much effort to get it so it's actually really, really smooth.
That's hard to do with oak. That's hard to do with oak.
And that's why that's one of my favorites that he's made.
so the nice thing about this one was that I tried a couple of things. So the mortise, yeah, mortise on this is literally a couple of millimeters thick, but the wood is so hard you didn't need to do any more with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you can see it or not, but this is unsanded. This is literally how it came off the lathe.
That looks like a Yorkshire grit finish.
That's it. It's a Yorkshire grit finish. So that's this was Yorkshire grit, the Yorkshire grit microcrystalline, and then I did some beeswax over the top of that as well.
Awesome.
Very nice.
But that's
very nice.
That's one of my favourite ones that he made.
Pretty piece of wood.
Giving that to someone, and I told him he couldn't. So sorry, whoever it's made.
There you go.
So, do you guys have dates or anything regarding the big move you're hoping to make anytime soon? I know you said before Christmas you hope, but you got anything? Okay, you're crossing fingers, so nothing's solid yet.
We found a house we really like.
Yeah.
And our house is going on the market this week. But we live in a very highly sought after area because we're in a conservation area in London.
Okay.
And we're in a catchment area for a lot of very, very good schools. So when I spoke to the estate agent, he literally said our house would be on the market 2 weeks if you're lucky.
So are you gonna stay in proper London, or are you gonna move to the outskirts?
We're moving to Suffolk,
Nice.
near St Edmunds, out in the country.
Oh, good for you.
In a
Oh,
country.
A very
You gotta-
big house.
Very big house in the country.
You got to be commuting into work then, Chris.
So I've got a camper van,
Mhm.
and because I do runs of shifts, what I'll probably be doing is I'll be going into work. I'll be staying at work for when I'm at work during those run of shifts. And again, because our station works slightly differently to normal ambulance stations, we can do that. But eventually I'll probably be moving to the ambulance service that serves the area that we're going to be living in.
Awesome. And what are those normal shifts? Are they 3 days or 4 days?
Both. You'll have 1 week of 3 days and then 1 week of 4 days.
Right.
And they're 12-hour shifts.
And they're 12-hour shifts. So it just means that
it's 12 hours you're sitting there and you're on duty, and then the other 12 hours you're on call. Basically, it's like if they need you, you're
man, it's got a kitchen. Well, he's got a kitchen on station,
Yeah.
so he can feed himself and just sleep there.
Wow, that's awesome, you guys. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope that happens for you before Christmas,
Thank
because that would be fun. That'd be fun to see you out in your nice, bigger new shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
There'll be spare bedrooms as well, so if
Yeah.
you come over, there's a place to come.
And we're gonna have Susie wants a studio. So we've got like a 5th big downstairs room that we can turn into a studio for her. So we can have we'll sort of share it, but it's not going to be the workshop. It's a studio.
Oh,
She
awesome.
can do her artwork.
So she can do
things like
crafts and artwork in there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love how you guys support your child. Jamie, that's basically all I got today. Unless you've got something else for them, then we can begin to wrap this thing up with some shout outs or whatever, or your disgusting song.
That's about it. So
Wait. No, don't do it.
I was just going to say that Dale actually put out in the chat the official Yorkshire Grit song. So I'm not going to actually sing it, but I'm going to tell you the words in case you want to make up your own version of it. But the words are: hands that feel pity can feel soft as your face with light brown Yorkshire gritty. Right, so you can put your own tone to that if you like. So, but that's the official Yorkshire Grit song.
Right.
Emma, I just want to point out
There you go.
that Dale has been using your bong.
It's to share.
All right.
Out there. Anyway, okay.
Guys, makers make.
Yeah. Okay. There's 4, Dale. Happy glugging. Happy
There you
glugging.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie. I guess we're ready for you
Right.
if you want to go, buddy.
Yeah. Plug those ears. It's time for Jamie's page.
Do you know what you never realise when you're actually doing this? The noise goes through fingers.
Yeah, taking the headphones
have
off
another
doesn't help
drink.
much either, but it's better. Anyway,
Have another drink, Chris.
which one?
Right.
Because I'm game.
Right.
Cheers, Chris.
First of all, a big congratulations to Dale of Maple Tree Studios. He hit
Absolutely.
a milestone of 1,000 subscribers.
Congrats, Dale.
So
Well deserved.
congratulations,
Well
Dale. Secondly, big thanks to everybody for partaking in the Virtually Crafty Festival yesterday. Another big success. So let's quickly go through the people that took part in that yesterday, which was the Beard Time 16, Dan Tarrant, which is the Wonky Workshop, Dale from Maple Tree Studios again, Emad, Wayne Clasper, who took over for Costas, SK Crafts, which is Steve, Andy Hill from AH Bespoke, Rebecca de Groot, Cameron Porter, Mr. Berkey himself, Marcy from Mixed Media Girl, Mate with Miles, Zach Higgins, Ken Moon, and of course Cole Jacobson.
And you kicked it off.
And I kicked it off, of course. Yeah.
Can I just say, that was an amazing thing to do. What a wonderful thing.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. We watched most of it.
Yeah.
On and off.
Yeah.
It kept us sane in a very dark day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So-
Awesome work.
Yeah,
Both you
yeah.
and Carl, Jamie. Well done putting that together. You're going to have
No
another
worries.
one next month, do you think?
So next month, so what we've there's a little bit of news with regards to that. So we are still going to keep doing it, but we're going to have to reduce it down to every other month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just for the sake of sanity reasons, really. We don't, for starters, we don't really want people getting bored of it. We want people to have something to look forward to. And if they're every month, then we kind of feel like it's going to get a bit. Meh.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense. No, makes sense.
Plus, when Cole, with everything being online now, Cole does a lot of stuff online with companies and wood turning clubs and things like that.
Yeah.
So if Cole is doing stuff, it's a lot of times he may be busy at the weekends. So if we do a stream at the end of the month and he's busy for the 3 weeks at the end of the month next month, then it could potentially be we've got a week to 2 weeks to organise the next one, and that just isn't enough time.
No,
Yeah.
Plus,
You know-
you're taking money out of Carl's pocket if he has to reserve a weekend like that.
Exactly.
So there won't be one next month, but perhaps the month after that.
Oh, there'll definitely be one the month after. So we're missing next month, but the month after there will be one. So it's every other month we're doing it now.
So November. Look for one in November.
Yeah, we're definitely doing one in November. And if anyone's interested in doing one, feel free to contact me. And we'll get you written down on our long list of people that we've got. Because Carl and I have got a book with names as long as you can.
Anna, I'm looking at you, girl. I think you would be fantastic to fill in one of those hours because I mean, what you do is not stuff that most people do, and I think that'd be extremely interesting.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Hint.
There was a
Hint.
really nice variety of people on as well.
Yeah.
From like carvers, different types of turning, of turning. Like
I can see Anna right now going, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." Yes, Anna, do that.
scoop. And I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I'd like to have a go at.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Yeah. Obviously, we had Heidi on doing pottery. We're looking into we got suggested yesterday a glass blower again. We actually got given details of this glass blower who's actually doing live streams at the moment. So we're going to get in contact with them.
That'd be
Fantastic.
awesome.
So yeah, we've got some good people we're going to try and get hold of. So yeah, with regards to oh, by the way, I'm also live at 11 o'clock, and Caitlin is live at 11:15 for our premieres. So there's that.
In the US, it'd be 6 and 6:30. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, 6 and 6:15. Sorry,
Okay.
AM or
in the US. With regards to my shout out, I'm not going to shout out any particular video. I'm going to shout out the whole channel itself, and it goes to Bruce Jordan of Jordan's Woodworks, and that's Woodworks with an X at the end. His whole channel, he does some absolutely beautiful wood turning videos. He uses a lot of maple burl and burl in general. To be honest, he makes things from hybrid blanks, just random artistic turn-ins. So yeah, he's got a fantastic channel, and he's also got less than 1,000 subscribers as well. So it'd be great to get him over that mark as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jordan's Woodworks.
All right, I'll go because I want to leave our guests for last to let them have the, because you leave the best for last, and obviously I'm not the best.
yeah.
My shout out goes to a lady that we had on with us many moons ago. I think 3 years ago, Jamie. I could be wrong. Laura Matthews Art.
Yeah,
Remember?
that was a while ago, yeah.
Laura Matthews Art. She makes these extremely articulated figures. I mean, we met her at the first Maker Central, and she had kind of a puppet thing going on, and that's kind of how we met her. But these things are incredibly cool. And she made this little horse kit and it was released. She did the video. It was released on last Tuesday. So if you have a chance to go back and look, her YouTube channel is Laura Matthews, Math, no double T, Mathews art. But she's making these little horse kits, and she's making them available for people to buy. And I get the impression that they're kits that you get to put together yourself. This isn't something she's going to make and then send to you. She's going to let you make it, but she's going to send you the parts that you need to do it. I just thought it was really cool because she does incredible work. So if you have an opportunity to check that video out, Laura Matthews art, give her a look.
I could be wrong as well. I believe she also gave away some templates to make a free duck as well.
May have
a little while ago. So
may very well have.
Yeah.
All right, Emma.
Into it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe Susie would be very into that. Emma, all right. What about you? We'll go with the lady first.
I would like to give a shout out to somebody who I've been watching for quite a while, and I find does quite interesting and slightly wacky stuff. Is Billy Woodturning. He's a French guy.
That's Villy with a V, right? Not B. It's
Villy.
Villy. Okay.
He's a great wood turner, but I just like the way that he does different things. But his last thing he did was with a stencil, and he sort of spray painted through a stencil to get patterning on it. I just think he's got good ideas, and he produces good videos. Not as good as Jamie's, obviously. There's no music, but they're good. They're informative, and it's all just a bit of fun for him. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, my shout out will be the person who
we blame everything to.
Yeah, but not Jamie.
But not Jamie. No.
It'll be Bobby Duke.
Bobby Duke.
The man, the myth. He really enthused Susie about crafting and making. His enthusiasm literally comes out the screen at you, and I think that's the thing that really got us.
I think his enthusiasm that he can spark such interest in minds. He's the person who made us go to Maker Central.
Yeah,
nice.
And I think he deserves a shout out. Probably hasn't been shouted out before. I know he's a big, well-known person, but hey, even they do good.
I think Bobby Duke's been shouted out plenty, but you know what? There's no harm in that because he deserves every one of them.
If actually think about it, there's another bloke, if it's all right, guys, that and that's Ramsdale Sherman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's somebody who we met when we were buying chisels, and he also epitomizes what's good in the making community. He was quite happy to help and show us the right things we needed, because we didn't have we were looking at traditional tools, and it was like, well, do we need one of these? And this was when I finally learned out the difference between a spindle gouge and a bowl gouge.
Mm-hmm.
He explained it to me, but he didn't need to do it.
We never knew him. We met him in
he was Axminster
in High Wycombe. He was a customer.
And he literally came over and took the time to explain it. And we said, oh, well, we're going to need to practice with these. And he said, oh, I've got some spare wood. If you come past mine, I'll give you some wood. And that's literally, he epitomizes what's good in the community.
All right, well, let me make sure I got this right. His name is Ramsdale. Last name is
Sherman.
Is that M-I-N or M-Y-N?
M-A-N.
M-A-N.
R-A-M-N. R-A-M. I'll get you the link, Chris. I know this. He's talking about Nathan.
Sorry, Chris.
S-T-A-L-E.
No, that's right. I just want to get so that at least on Wednesday when this gets re-released on SoundCloud, iTunes, people have the link for it.
And he's doing the most amazing blanks now.
It was when you talked about the bird walnut. So he's doing some blanks at the moment. He's doing like pressure pot blanks, but they're birds. I think
ink.
But they're with ink. They're not hybrid. It's actually the ink gets pushed into the burl, and they're just simply stunning. They really are amazing bits of kit.
Nice.
Fantastic. You know what, Emma, Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening for you, this Sunday afternoon for me.
Yeah.
It was good. It's good to sit and actually get to talk to you guys because I don't think we've ever done this before.
And you, Chris.
And have a giggle.
Yeah.
Just remember, it's all his fault.
Yeah.
We're all blaming each other. It was all good, so I guess
Yeah.
I'll take the blame if they want to give it to me because I liked it.
No, it's definitely him.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Yeah.
all yours.
Right. So I guess we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to quickly run through some of the people that's out in the chat because they've obviously, or hopefully they've been having a giggle at today's show. So we've got Ian in the shed. Who else is out there? Anna B's out there. Maple Tree Studios out there. The Q with Andy Pew's out there. Barry's Wood Creations is out there. Dennis from Wooden Dennis is out there. SK Crafts is out there. Mark the Gentleman Woodturner's out there. Terry Bray's out there. Andy Hill's out there. Scott the Blue Light Turner. Let's keep going. Fred Taylor. Do a couple more. Glenn Senior. David from Portal Woodworks.
Awesome.
Yep, that's Karama Sain's out there as well.
I'm sure we missed a ton, but thanks for showing up, everybody, today. It's been great.
So that's the come to the end of the show. So thanks everyone for joining us. Until next week, where Chris and I still don't know what we're going to be talking about.
Never do.
Probably won't until about midweek. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.
Cheers,
Take it
guys.
easy, everyone.
Bye.